My sister is 8 months pregnant with my husband's baby, and she's been telling everyone she's doing it as a favor to me. The problem? I can't have children, but I never asked her to be my surrogate. Let me take you back to how this all started. 2 years ago, my world fell apart when the doctors told me I'd never be able to carry a baby. The endometriosis had done too much damage. My husband Marcus held me as I sobbed in that sterile hospital room, promising we'd find another way. My sister Sarah was there too, rubbing my back, whispering that everything would be okay. Sarah had always been the golden child. 3 years younger, effortlessly beautiful, the one who got married first and had 2 perfect kids by age 25. But she was also my best friend, my confidant, the person I called when Marcus and I had our first fight or when I got that promotion at work. So when she showed up at our house 6 months later with tears in her eyes, talking about how she'd been thinking about my situation nonstop, I thought it was just Sarah being Sarah. Caring. Supportive. I want to be your surrogate, she said, grabbing both my hands. I've been researching it, and I think I could really help you guys start your family. Marcus looked stunned. I was speechless. Could this really be happening? Was my sister offering to give us the one thing we wanted most? Sarah, that's incredible, but we haven't even talked to doctors about surrogacy yet, I managed. I know, but I already made some calls. I found this clinic that specializes in it. Dr. Rahman. He can see us next week. Everything moved so fast after that. Within a month, we were sitting in Dr. Rahman's office discussing contracts and procedures. Sarah seemed to know more about the process than Marcus and I did. She'd researched everything, the medications, the timeline, the legal requirements. But here's where things started feeling wrong, though I didn't see it then. Sarah insisted on handling most of the communication with the clinic. She said she wanted to spare me the stress, let me focus on getting emotionally ready. When I tried to come to appointments, she'd say things like, "Oh, this one's just routine blood work," or "It's just a quick checkup, no need for you to take time off work." Marcus started going to more appointments than I did. He'd come home with updates, "Everything looks good. Sarah's responding well to the hormones." Then came the month we were supposed to start the transfer process. Sarah called me crying. "The doctor says my hormone levels aren't right for your embryos," she sobbed. "But he thinks if we wait one more cycle, use fresh embryos instead of frozen, we'll have better odds." Something felt off, but I trusted her. She was doing this incredible thing for us. "What does that mean exactly?" I asked. "Well, Marcus would need to provide fresh samples, and they'd need to be, the timing has to be perfect." I should have asked more questions. I should have insisted on being there. But I was so desperate, so grateful, that I just nodded and said whatever she needed. 3 months later, Sarah announced she was pregnant. I cried happy tears. Marcus cried happy tears. We started planning the nursery, buying baby clothes, talking about names. Sarah documented everything on social media, posting bump photos with captions about helping my sister achieve her dreams and what family is really about. The comments poured in. "You're an angel. Your sister is so lucky. This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen." I felt so loved, so supported. Even though I wasn't carrying the baby, I felt like I was part of something magical. But then, at Sarah's baby shower, which she insisted on having because the baby needs to be celebrated, something happened that shattered everything. Sarah's mother-in-law, Mrs. Peterson, pulled me aside. "Honey, I need to ask you something, and please don't take this the wrong way," she whispered. "But are you sure about the timeline here?" "What do you mean?" "Well, Sarah's been telling us she's been your surrogate for months, but didn't she and David just file for divorce? And didn't she mention she'd been trying to get pregnant for a while before that?" My blood went cold. "What are you talking about?" "Oh dear. I think I may have said too much. But Sarah told David's mother that she was already pregnant when they separated. Said the stress of David leaving was why she wanted to do this surrogate thing for you. To feel useful. I found Sarah in the kitchen, laughing with our cousins, one hand on her belly. "Sarah, can I talk to you privately?" We went upstairs to my old bedroom. I closed the door. "Mrs. Peterson just told me something interesting about your timeline. Want to explain?" Sarah's face went white. Then red. Then she started crying. "I can explain everything," she said. "So explain." And that's when the real truth came out. Sarah and David had been trying for a third baby for over a year. When David asked for a divorce, she was already 2 months pregnant. She panicked, knowing she couldn't afford another child on her own, knowing David would fight her on custody and support. Then she remembered my situation. My desperation. My husband who'd always been a little too friendly with her at family gatherings. "I never meant for it to go this far," she sobbed. "But Marcus, he was so sweet to me during all those appointments. And you were always working, always stressed, and he was just there, and I was scared and pregnant and I couldn't breathe. This couldn't be real. Are you telling me you slept with my husband?" "It just happened a few times. During the procedure appointments. We told ourselves we were doing it for you, for the baby, but..." The room was spinning. My sister. My husband. My baby that was never my baby. So whose baby is it, Sarah? David's or Marcus's? I don't know. I walked downstairs like a zombie. 40 people were in my living room, celebrating a pregnancy that was built on the biggest lie of my life. Marcus was opening gifts, talking about our baby with tears in his eyes. Either he was the world's best actor, or my sister had manipulated both of us. I waited until everyone left. Then I confronted Marcus. He broke down immediately. "She said you knew," he kept saying. "She said you'd agreed that natural conception would be better, that the clinic was too expensive." "And you believed that?" I wanted to believe it. God help me, I wanted to believe it because I developed feelings for her. And I thought maybe this was somehow okay because it was for us. The next morning, I called Dr. Ramon's office. I'd never been registered as a patient there. Sarah had been seeing him for regular prenatal care, nothing more. I hired a lawyer. I demanded a paternity test. Sarah refused. But here's what she didn't expect. I'd learned a few things about being ruthless from watching her manipulate everyone around her. I went to her baby shower guests on social media. I posted the real story, with evidence. Screenshots of my medical records showing when I'd been diagnosed, phone records showing I'd never contacted Dr. Ramon's office, text messages between Sarah and Marcus that I'd found on his phone. The same people who'd called her an angel were now calling her something very different. Sarah's story started falling apart. David's lawyer got involved when he realized he might not be the father. Marcus's family cut ties with both of them. Even our parents, who'd initially tried to play peacekeeper, couldn't defend what she'd done. The baby was born last month. Marcus is the father. Sarah tried one last time to convince me to work things out, to raise the baby together like we planned. I filed for divorce instead. I'm moving across the country for a new job. Sarah can raise that baby with her lies, but she'll do it alone. Marcus can pay child support and live with the consequences of believing that betraying your wife could somehow be an act of love. And me? I'm finally free from both of them. The hardest part isn't losing the baby I thought was mine. It's realizing that the two people I trusted most in the world saw my pain as an opportunity. But I survived. And I learned something important: sometimes the family you choose is better than the family you're born into. Have you experienced something like this? Tell me in the comments.